Is YouTube? Welcome to another live session. In this live session, we're going to be trading MGC gold futures. Apologize for the. Usually, I'll use my OBS streaming service to so I can have my other camera up, but just so I'm able to look at the comments a little bit easier today, I'm just using my webcam off my computer here. Give you a wipe down there. Don't mind me. Okay, test. Hopefully we have audio. Marcus should be in the comments. Let me know if there is any issues with the audio. Like I said, we're going to be trading MGC gold futures in this live session. We very well may not take a trade in this session, which is very common for a trading session. We could sit on our hands. We can make trade executions. Who knows? And we shall see what this trading session has to offer. So let's get into it. Let's get into it, my friends. Yes, beautiful. Okay, this isn't too bad. This is not too bad in it. All right, first thing we're gonna do is just do a little chart markup real quick. I'm gonna mark up some fresh levels. Gold might be trying to get out of there as we speak. Usually when I hop on here, I'll delete all the levels that I have placed up to this point, and we'll just go ahead and add new levels. Marcus will iterate the same thing in that, once you get familiar seeing these levels, once you get familiar recognizing the patterns of the three candlestick structure of our decision-making levels and the patterns of um, uh, inefficiencies and understanding where liquidity lies. Over time, like I can just look at this and in 10-15 seconds I can find all the levels that I need. So me kind of going in here every day and putting new levels, it might seem like, damn man, that's kind of redundant, don't you think? Yeah, maybe. But just with how efficient the process is now, I think it's just something that just a process that helps kind of wire me and hone me into the trading session that we're currently in. Okay. Let's see, I'll start on my higher time frames. Let's see what areas of inefficiencies lie for us. God, look at that fill. It's almost perfect. Excuse my nose. Little allergies, man. I need to stop blowing that fan so damn high at night. Tons of liquidity down here. Again, when I'm looking for imbalance, yeah, I saw some levels down here. I can actually probably delete that guy right there. But I'm really going to just concentrate kind of where price is around, if that makes sense. So just looking at this daily, not seeing areas of inefficiency that are standing out to me on the daily. But again, price is fractal. We got to continue to look down our time frames to find some of these levels. There's one. And in this video, I'm not going to get into, the mechanics of these areas of inefficiencies or our three candlestick structure for our decision-making levels. I'm hoping that you will be a great student and start to just go through some of our other content, some of our other videos. If you probably just type in, do a search, Command F. I don't know how you can do it, but fair value gaps, inefficiency markups. We have videos on this stuff. We have, I think Marcus's most recent video was on marking up decision-making levels. So that information is out there. And of course, as time goes on, we will continue to put out videos that are designed to teach that specifically. Little something up there, little something up there, but again, we're far away from there. Got liquidity line down here. Okay, I feel like that would be worth marking up there. Now let's get a little zoom in on that for us. Price and efficiency here, a gap in price. Yeah, and I'll go ahead and throw this guy down here. You know, I'm sitting here on the 4 hour time frame. For these levels, I really want to find most of these major levels on our higher time frames. All right. When you find them on the higher time frames, the probability of price getting into that area is just a little bit higher. Maybe I shouldn't say that, because if price is inefficient, then price is inefficient, right? No matter really where it lies. Again, price is fractal. What I'm looking at here on the daily time frame, the same thing I'm looking at on the 4 hour, and it's the same price that I'm looking at on the 1 hour, but it just kind of expands it. Just zoomed in view, the lower the time frames go. All right, so with respect to areas of inefficiency, I think we're good for now. Now my eyes have been turned to, and it's just funny how it just naturally happens, just a cycle. Shout out to Marcus, because he's really the one that taught me this 3 candlestick structure. I see there's a little something going on here. First candle's the biggest, second candle's kind of in between. I believe this third candle, and this is not actually a 3 candlestick structure, because we want this candle 1, candle 3 to be the same color. But we'll keep looking. But it's intuitive for the most part, right? We understand that when there's an area in price that price struggles, we'll be able to find 3 candlestick structure there. That's just kind of an easy way for us to just start to learn and internalize what these patterns look like. Excuse me, let's see if I can clear up my nose a little bit. Really hoping I have audio here. Really hoping I have audio. I'm just checking here. Mute. Okay, I'm hoping for the best. If you can't hear me, shoot me a message in the chat. Hopefully we're fine. I feel like everything looks fine on my end. You know, once you do this long enough, you just, the times where you get through a whole live and you get to the end, you're like, damn, my camera was off that entire time. Or I had absolutely no audio during that entire video. Money. Got you, Co. Morning, buddy. Top of the morning. And so when it comes to my chart, just the general way I approach it, right? Because, you know, we can put every little area of inefficiency down. Cool. But for me, it's not a thing of the more the better. And again, earlier I talked about just training our eyes to see the patterns. And over time, right, it could essentially just not put these levels down. Right? It makes my life easier, that's for sure. Especially with the areas of inefficiencies as you move through price. But I want to keep my chart as clean and crispy as possible. Yeah, just looking for levels here. Once we get through, and it's kind of just a cyclical process of things, right? I'll get on here, wake up. 5:40 is my alarm. It's currently 6:13. Kind of get on the charts around 6 o'clock. Open up the chart, mark up my levels. That just kind of puts my body in just that cycle, that repetitive cycle. Um, I'll always preach that the great traders, the great performers of anything, right? They have a system. Right? LeBron, Kobe, Steph. Just thinking in the basketball world on game day, they have really the same routine day in day out. The best actors in the world, before they get on set, they have the same routine that they get into. It's the same thing that we're doing here. Right? We're high functioning professionals in this space. Um, if you don't think of yourself as that in this space, you'll be like the 90% of traders that quit, get eaten up by the market because it's hard, man. It's hard. But if you don't have a system that you can always fall back on, excuse me, always fall back on and fine tune and adjust. Right? If we don't have a system, we don't know what to adjust. We don't know what to fine tune. We're just spitballing, for lack of a better phrase. And so area decision making levels, I can see these with my eyes, right? So having whole bunch of lines on here for me, I like to keep it clean. So again, Marcus has a video on how to see the patterns of those decision making levels, the three candlestick structure, and what we're looking for there. I highly encourage you to watch that if you haven't already. All right, next is the macro. We gotta see, we gotta be keen towards, okay, yes. Making sure it's popping up in here. So today's Thursday, right? Yeah, today's Thursday. Ooh, I got a farm test tomorrow. Let's get it. That's very superficial on the brain right now. Unemployment claims, that's just near upon us. In about 15 minutes or so. So actually, I probably won't be super eager and on my toes to take an execution until this weekly unemployment claims drops. Data's looked, somewhat encouraging, right? A lot of mixed job data, and then that really boils up to the top. I think the Fed and they're really trying to figure out the landscape of the job market, right? Things are just so volatile right now, in ways that are unique, right? Especially with regard to the precious metals, just the overall money and liquidity in the market. It's we're really kind of moving into a new age here. And, we sent a message in our community the other day. Yesterday, I sent one last night to uh, in our community chat, but in response to one of our Australian people in our community, Jason Galvin, somebody who's been with us literally since the beginning of time, the beginning of Bloom. And he asked a question just in regards to the volatility. He feels like the pips and the points are more or being like changing the way they're calculated. And I looked into it a little bit. And I didn't look into it thinking that they were changing the way pips were calculated necessarily. But I just kind of wanted to see why um, that phrase, that expression would be used. And in my research, I was just looking into it for about 20, 30 minutes last night. It really just is because of the volatility. You'll enter a position, you enter a position 2 years ago on gold. Um, you visualize visually, it looks like it's moved the same amount with respect to that same play you take now, but for whatever reason, and let's frame this in the light of when back then you would have made say $200 in that trade. Now it's like 450, right? That's just in the way that gold, the market has just exploded and expanded. There's so much more pips on the forex side, so many more points that are moved intra trading session. Um, hence why somebody would feel like um, there's some sort of inflation going on in the points themselves. I hope that makes sense a little bit. But here, we'll looking at the macro. Again, we're focused on our red folders primarily. There'll be some orange folders. We look at obviously anytime Trump speaks, kind of just pay a little bit of attention. But these red folders are going to be what we're looking at here. When I say mixed data, mixed employment data, here's actually a kind of good insight into that. So we have ADP non-farm employment change, which is a labor market um, data stat. Um, ADP non-farm employment change, you can see it's come negative really since September. There was in November, there was some encouraging data. This week, discouraging data. And maybe I should use a different word, not discouraging, but below forecast. Um, that's a better way to frame it. Below forecast. Then you look at unemployment claims. Okay, that's looked a little bit more encouraging. So you'll have some labor market data come out positive. You have others come out negative, and that's kind of what we mean when we say there's mixed labor market data going on. Um, and I'm very very sure. I can't think of a direct quote or a direct anecdote from any time recently, um, but I know this is heavy on the Fed's radar. The Fed, their whole purpose is to execute their dual mandate of max employment and stable prices. That's what the central government exists to do: max employment and price stability. So just understanding that that's their focus, right, kind of helps us frame as traders, as recreational traders, as to what some of this data can mean on a broader scale. The unemployment claims 10 minutes from now, Georgia job openings today, and this one release delayed. So this is somewhat delayed. We're almost caught up on our, I guess, the government shutdown had kind of like another mini shutdown this past week. I believe we're over it. I'll take a peek at Reuters here in a sec to confirm that, but I'm pretty sure that's fair to say. That's not till eight o'clock. So between 6:30, 8 o'clock, we'll be eager to be on my toes, get athletic in the market, and hopefully execute some plays. So that's all I really need to see here, right? So I marked up my levels, bam, start to put my body start to just turn the trading wheels, right? Especially in the morning, and a lot of people trade on different time zones. Like I said, our buddy Jason in Australia, he trades, I believe, in the evening time down there. So kind of like flip flop of when we trade. So you just have to you have to understand yourself, understand how you operate, how to get your mind fresh. That'll be a little bit different for everybody. But for me, I just think doing an exercise like deleting all your markups and putting them on is just a really good, easy, quick way to get your mind ready to go. We did that. Then we look at the macro. Bam. Okay, I'm just looking at that. Looking at red folders. Okay, anything coming up? Bam. Okay, I might wait. Like in this case, I'm gonna wait a little bit. Right, that's important. If I didn't look at this, I'd had to enter the trade, and 6:30 would have rolled around, and bam, stop loss hit, just like that. Just because that peak, that spike of volatility that comes in when those news folders goes, I don't necessarily want to be in a position before that folder releases. And last peak, we'll take a rooters. And this, especially with us trading gold, this primarily is to just see that there has been nothing new or fresh that is destabilizing to the market. Um, Destabilization, instability would mean that money is being poured into risk off assets. All right. When we're in a risk off asset, risk traders, investors are less likely to assume risk. Ergo, they will put their money in safer risk off assets like gold, like precious metals. That's a large contributor to why we have seen the precious metals markets, gold, silver, just absolutely boom. A lot of that is due to the instability that is there, right? And so, last resource before I lock it on the charts, we got 5 minutes till news. Ooh, this is the most risk off I've seen it. So we are, in fact, in a risk off climate. This resource right here, baby pips, this is our tool to gauge where we're at with respect to risk on, risk off. That's strange because we're risk off. Gold is very much risk on. Gold's a very unique asset, right? Just because there's so much confluence, so much going on in there. Right. So I really like how Baby Pitch kind of breaks this down from a broader level, yes, but also breaks it down on an individual level, right? Because yeah, we're risk off, but gold risk on, right? Something to pay attention to. Okay, let's see what we got here. Sitting right here on the 1 hour time frame, I got news in about 5 minutes exactly. Excuse me. Oh, and I think you guys can see that. Yes. So this is in the same light we're talking. Look at this little notification up here. Due to increased volatility, trading restrictions have been placed on gold, silver, HG. Fuck, I don't know what HG is. PL's platinum, um, NG, QG. I'm not sure what NG and QG is. I believe these are all precious metals though. I'll have to verify QG. Quentin Gulliford. That's me. Bet on me, gang. I'm just playing. But due to increased volatility, like I was just saying a couple minutes ago, trading restrictions have been placed on the precious metals, and limits have been decreased to 5, 10, and 15 contracts on MDC silver, whatever that is, whatever that is. All right. Again, the volatility. I was talking about our Australian friend, our Australian compadre, who felt like, man, I just entered trade and these positions seem like they're just worth so much more either way, win or loss, right? So even a platform like Top Step, they recognize this, and so they have gone ahead and put restrictions on the amount of contracts you can place on those assets. Okay. 3 minutes is going to be a fantastic time to grab my first cup of coffee today. I'm usually good for about 3 cups of coffee a day. Usually three. I'd say on average, weekly, 2.5. Some days it's two, some days it's three. Just depends how I'm feeling, right? And so before this news hits, because I want to be here when the news hits, um, I'm gonna get myself a cup of coffee. Um, Yeah, beautiful. We've oriented ourselves to our levels, the macro, risk on, risk off, sentiment. Fuck, man, we're ready to go. I'll be right back. All right, how we look? What I missed? Oy, nothing looking too crazy volatile off rip. Let me get clipped on here. Oh, that looks horrible, but it's okay. Okay, let's see how this data released. All right. So unemployment claim is one of those folder that greater than expected, actual greater than forecast is bad for currency. I believe that's how they'll frame it. Okay, I just flipped it. So actual less than forecast is good for currency. Ergo, actual greater than forecast is bad for currency, right? And currency is referring to what? US dollar. US dollar. That's what it refer to. So one more time. Actual less than forecast is good for the US dollar. Ergo, actual greater than forecast is bad for the US dollar, like we have just experienced here. Right. And again, mixed job data. Even though this week we're kind of see a consistency of, so in this one, ADP non-farm, actual greater than forecast in this case is good for currency, ergo, actual less than forecast, like we see here, is bad for currency. All right. Forex Factor, they do a good job of just giving you just a really quick synopsis of pretty much everything you need to know at our level with respect to these folders. All right, let's pop over here. So we got news that would likely push the US dollar downwards. What does that mean? Downwards US dollar movement means gold goes up, right? We have to be careful, right? We can't just, when we see that and we see something like that happen, we don't just rush in here and take a buy in this case. No, because there's still a broader overall trend of the market, most likely. And in my experience, it's just not enough information, not enough validation for me to just enter a position. I'm still gonna wait for my program. I'm still gonna wait for my system to play out. Excuse me. Wait for my confirmations to present themselves and then execute. Right. Sure, if the market ends up going in that intended direction, I may miss out on a little bit of play. But if that keeps me safe, keeps me in the game long term, 100% worth it. Ooh, hot boy. Okay. 5 minute here. What am I looking for? What am I looking for? You see some of the levels that price will want to fill here, indicated in this light gray. If I get good buyers momentum, buyers volume, indicated by these dark blue bars here on our MACD, price moves above the cloud, and our lagging line is above price. I'll have everything I need in place for me to feel confident about executing the position. On the flip side, if price breaks out of this area, lagging lines below price, which it currently is, price is below the cloud, which it is, we get downward angle of the cloud, man, I'm gonna play this down into this area, play this fill up. All right. Because right now, broad overall kind of trend in the market. Of course, gold is just unbelievably, extremely all-time bullish. But over the last week or so, since 29th, yes, was that this week? End of last week, going into this week, we've seen that kind of that pullback, if you will. Then a little recovery, And now we're kind of finding some stability. So your question is the same as my question. Where do we go from here? We don't know. And anybody that tells you that they know, please don't listen to that person because there's absolutely no way anybody in the world can account for future events that have yet to happen. Right? Hold on to that, please. I think that changed my life. Changed my life when I really internalized that. There's an anecdote I hold on to. You can't connect the dots going forward. You can only connect the dots going backwards, right? We can look at all the history we want, back test all we want. Awesome. And that does prepare us for when things do happen, right? And that's why we back test. That's why we choose to do that. But what we can't do is we can't connect the dots going forward. We can't account for future things that happen, right? Earlier, I talked about how gold reacts to various different signs of instability um, in the world, geopolitical world, economic world, any instability when investors start to feel like there's more risk going on and the market's more risky, their sentiment will move to a risk off state, meaning money will be poured into a risk off asset like gold, right? And so I mean I hope it makes sense how if Russia decides to do something crazy tomorrow, week from now, we'll never know that. We'll know it when the news hits, right? But before that, we'll have no idea. We'll have no idea if China decides to do X to Y next week, right? I'm just trying to get us to make sense that we can't connect the dots going forward, right? So, we could say, man, gold's been all time bullish. I'm just going to sit here, enter a buy, call it good because gold's all time bullish. At any point, it could just turn into an all time bearish asset. Who knows, right? Again, and we think of probabilities. And so, again, during that process, we're constantly weighing the probabilities of certain things happening. There's the probabilities of certain things happening are higher than other things, right? We can make sense of that. Um, so yeah, that's just our cue is always we have to have a system that we fall back on. We have to have a system that is defined, one that will keep us safe no matter what the conditions of the market are. Right. If we thrive in one type of market condition, once that market condition changes, then what? What do we do now? Right? We have to have a well-rounded skill set. The greatest professionals in the world, the Kobe's of the world, the Michaels, the Currys. Curry's probably my favorite example of this in the basketball world. Is how he's developed his game over time. Right? He should just thrive at the 3 point line. He's always had that kind of freedom of movement type of play style, heavily reliant on the three ball. But shit, 10 years ago, you started to see him really build up his strength, started to be able to finish at the rim better, cut slash drive, and just rounding out his game, turning himself into one of the greatest players of all time. Right? And that's just an example of somebody at a really high level of performance. That's what we are, right? Um, we haven't like it's not a direct comparison, but I think it's phenomenal to frame our success as traders, something that's very hard, something that 90% of people, probably more than that, will never make a dollar over time with and end up quitting. Right? That's what happens to most people who enter this space because they stick to just rely on that three ball. They don't ever diversify their skill set. They don't define a system that they can always come back to and adjust and manipulate. All right. Okay. So I rambled on there for about 10 minutes. I apologize. But that's what we're on here for. We're on here to talk. We're on here to um, learn more about the market. I like to do my best to kind of put you guys in my head, what I'm seeing, how I'm kind of framing the various different challenges of trading, the challenges of a current trading session, and just provide my insight here and there. Because who knows who needs to hear certain things, right? I want to be able to meet people who watch our content, watch our videos where they're at best we can. Um, yeah, that's what the mission is. So moving a little bit sideways here ish. Again, it goes back to my saying. It goes back to what I said a minute ago. Who knows where we go from here? We have our levels marked up. We have an understanding of where decision making levels lie. Part one around here, right where price is. And then from there, we just trust our system. We trust our system. We'll lean on the macro to just get a general understanding of the broader trend of the market. Even though we've had bearish movement on gold over this past week or so, for me, the probabilities of I'm just been trading this so long. I feel like I'm part of the market at this point. I'm giving it enough money at this point. I could probably say that. I'm just playing. Um, but just when I think of just broader overall trend of the market, nothing for me has changed with gold. Even though we've gotten some pullback and some retracement, yes, but I don't see this thing going down to the floor, if you will, anytime soon. It's just too prominent of a risk off asset, and we see just the incorporation of countries, China particularly, the U.S. holding on to gold, increasing their what's the word I'm looking for? Their store hold. That word doesn't sound right, but it's close. Um, we'll go with it. Their store hold of gold, physical gold. It would take a lot for me to see probabilistically thinking, right? I cannot say that that's not going to happen, or I'm completely confident this is going to happen. And there's again, we can't connect the dots going forward. Hold on to that and internalize that for some time. We can't connect the dots going forward. Can't account for future unforeseen events, particularly when information relating to that event is not publicly available. That's kind of the hard part about trading sometimes. There are some things that are seemingly behind the curtain, but as Marcus and I have realized, if if we just follow the breadcrumbs, there is how can I frame this? Um, the breadcrumbs are out there, right? The breadcrumbs are out there. And even when it comes to a good example is with cryptocurrency and digital currencies, digital assets. The breadcrumbs are out. Most people wouldn't know that banks like Chase, the largest banks in the world, the largest hedge funds in the world, governments have been incorporating digital assets into their workflow on the back end. They won't publicly say they're not going to, have a commercial and wave a flag that says, "Hey, we're involved with digital assets. This is going to be a large part of our operations moving into the future." No, it's going to be in the fine print on their website, and you have to go find it. That's how a lot of this stuff is. Finding information about various different things, various different players. AIs, large language models, ChatGPT are really good resources for that, just because it helps populate information that would otherwise be hard for us to find and see. But again, the breadcrumbs are out there. All right. If there's something you want to find out more about, don't just tack it to, okay, this information isn't publicly available. I want to be able to figure out what's going on here. follow the breadcrumbs, be a detective, be a scientist, and go from there. Wander from Dino. Where am I from? No, I am not a robot. I am not a robot. I don't think robots need coffee. I certainly do. I'm currently situated in Phoenix, Arizona. So it's 6:45 here. I don't even know what our time. We don't change time zones. We don't have daylight savings here, so I don't even know what time zone we're in. But appreciate you tapping in, man. Uh, but pretty uneventful up to this point. We'll go for about 15 more minutes. I like to hop on here for about an hour, um, and just kind of put my brain on the camera. I put you guys in my head. Like I said, there might be some days we hop on here and there, we might not talk about a single thing that could is per se relevant to you and your journey particularly. But that's why we do these things 2 times a week. Marcus is on Tuesdays, I'm on Thursdays. Whatever is on our brain for that day, we're going to get into it, approach these things just like we do our own trading sessions. If trades present themselves, we'll execute, and execute aggressively. That's where it gets fun. But this is what trading is. A lot of the times, it's sitting on your hands, being disciplined, having your system defined, and um, when your entries don't present themselves, your confirmations don't present themselves. What do? We sit on our hands, we wait, we investigate, and for me, that part is where I get to do a lot of my work when I'm sitting on my hands on the market and just waiting for price to move. All right, I'll be over on ChatGPT. I'm not doing that today just because I want to be engaged, with you guys and the video. I'll be on ChatGPT just asking it questions, right? And the great thing about large language models and things like ChatGPT is, you know, your prompts and what you ask it don't have to be complicated, intricate, esoteric at all. Ask it as if you were a 5-year-old. Ask it this most simple question ever, and just go from there. Have a conversation with it as if me and you were having a conversation, and just learn and engage and look things up, read about people, the history of certain things, connect the dots going backwards. Right. This is just a phenomenal use of time. Yeah, trading top step futures, funded on a 50K right now. Marks and I, we're running a play. We just want to get a couple of these pass and get a couple of these going to provide an income stream for us, for our businesses, and for things related to this business, Bloom entities, and some of our other stuff as well. The great thing about fundeds is they can be challenging to pass. Right, I'm working on this one. Marcus passed his last week, so we have one on the board right now. And we'll work to get a couple of those on and increase the size of those over time. And the play is to incorporate those in and have those be a stream of income for us to fund our other endeavors. Right. I'm in a position. I always should. I'm a straight shooter, man. I don't hide too much, if anything at all. There's of course some things in my personal life that won't share to the YouTube sphere, to the YouTube university, mostly because it's just not freaking relevant. Um, but yeah, so I'm in a position. I'm 26 now, and we're working really hard to just get my credit to a place where, I could have more flexibility, financially to pull money from banks. That's just not the case for me right now. I'm sitting at, I have to check what it is most recently. But we all know how life is. Mistakes are made, emergencies happen. So, but even without that, right? Even if I could, pull out a couple $100,000 business credit from Chase, I would still we would still exercise this play. Why? Because like why not? Why not utilize these funded accounts to add a stream of income for us, right? Again, it's not an easy thing to early on to pass and to kind of get over that hump and to have four, five, six of these things and have steady income stream. I don't say that lightly as if that's something that's just done overnight. No, we're working and working our butts off to make this happen. Um, yeah, another income stream. Income streams are that's how the rich get wealthy. Why don't you try? If I'm just reading your comments here, Dino. Why don't you try for host and prop from company in YouTube Live? Did you? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Why don't you try for host in prop from company in YouTube Live? If you could provide me a little bit more insight, that'd be phenomenal. Um, yeah, I think I get what you're trying to get at. Uh, why don't you try for host in prop from company at YouTube Live? Yeah, provide me a little bit more insight. Kind of put me inside your brain a little bit. Would love to chat about it. Yeah, so like big picture for us, right? So I'm on a 50K right now, past the 50, maybe get another 50 in there, have 4 or 5 50Ks money. All right. At that point, we'll have some nice cash coming in. We'll use that then to buy a $150,000 prop account. Past that, yeah, pass another pass another one. That's two 150s, and then even when we have multiple 50Ks, we'll copy trade it, um, and maybe not have all of them on one copy trade in one copy traded system, but maybe diversify and have two and kind of store have kind of two bunches, two groups of say four past funded accounts, to where we're only trading on essentially two separate accounts that will kind of get dispersed into 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 accounts. So that's the play. That's our goal this year, to get to that point where man we're being paid for this stuff. We're right on the cusp of that being manifested as results. Um, but you'll always hear us say, I talk about over the last 5, 10 minutes the results of what we want to do and what we want to do. There's so much day in day out. This was our last bloom principle. Actually, we focus always. We maintain our focus on the inputs. We maintain our focus on refining our system and putting our time into research, putting our time into waking up in the morning, and trading and learning. Right? Excuse my language, but fuck the results. Right? We know we are very very confident that if we just continue to do the right things over time, it's really just a matter of time before whatever results we want will be manifested. Right. And I don't say manifested as like me, like I'm doing like the fucking Instagram girl manifestation where, we just close our eyes and manifest. We manifest through effort. We manifest through just giving everything we have to our endeavors, focusing on the inputs. It's money. Let's see. There's a company firm. There's two videos. There's a company firm who do YouTube lives, and there's two, three hosts. Yeah. So Marcus and I, shoot, when we first started this, and you could probably, did we do it on YouTube? Fuck. So the first year, we were kind of in business. We had um, co-founders with us. So there's four of us, and all four of us would be on in the morning. Then Marcus, when it was just Marcus and I, and still with Marcus and I, me and him would be on as well. And we did that for a while, and now what we're trying is just us having 2 days, right? So Marcus is on Tuesdays, I'm on Thursdays, and we find that it allows us to us individually to just speak our minds, work through our trading process. Marcus is on right now, just in the comments, so that's kind of our commitment to each other. So when Marcus is on Tuesdays, I'm on in the background, commenting if there's something to comment on. Um, so yeah, I hear you. I appreciate you clarifying. Um, yeah, having multiple people on it, it's nice for the conversation, right? Just be able to kind of spitball with each other. Um, and yeah, it'll be something we'll most likely do in the future as well. But for now, the system that we're running is us just taking a day, giving us 2 days to hop on here, because it's not optimal for us to hop be on here and trade live. I don't think anybody who trades live would say who trades would say it's optimal to be on YouTube live and talking your mouth off while you're trading, right? It's not like the most insane thing in the world. We've done it countless and countless of times. I think when we first got this thing going, there, I have to go back and count the days, but probably for over 200 trading days straight, we were on here live trading. So this is something where we're very used to at this point. But yeah. I appreciate the inquiry. If that's something you want to see, let us know. If you want to see Marcus on here, we're always open for recommendation. That's for sure. Market's moving sideways. Got about 4 more minutes here. I'll take us to 7 o'clock local time here. It's currently 6:57. Again, I got a fucking farm test to take tomorrow, and then physiology test to take next Tuesday. So I got a busy weekend. Got a busy weekend. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And since 3 minutes before I hop on, I am on. Before I hop off, I will kind of do a wrap up, and I'll do a wrap up, and in doing so, I'll tell you what I'm looking for, the confirmations, the validations I'll need to take a sell, the confirmations, validations I'll need to take a buy. Appreciate the luck sent over, Cohen, man. As you know, even with school, man, it's all about the inputs, all about the inputs. And I'm a guy when it comes to these tests, man. Whatever the score is at the end of the day, it is always heavily tied to my preparation every single time. It's funny how that works, right? But if I go into the test and I feel prepared, 99.9% of the time that'll be manifested as the result that I want. And up to this point, I've done super well, super blessed to made certain sacrifices, and yeah, I've done super well. But again, it's just all tied to the work, man. Just like anything else. Training's been going good, dude. Training's been going good. About to pick up another client here. Um, yeah, it's phenomenal. I'm working with a seventh grader. I'm working with two eighth graders. And I'm about to start working with a sophomore that's going to be a junior. He's currently a JV kid, and we kind of want to help him make that leap onto the varsity level. But man, I love every bit of it. It's funny because it's made me realize I definitely don't freaking miss playing. Um, I just don't miss the the schedule of it. But man, I just love the game so much. So being able to important to the young guys. I mean, I was with you guys on the road and everything. I loved every bit of that experience, and being able to spill my knowledge to the youth, man. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, the factory ladder work, man, is undefeated. Trying to get these kids under, they hate me for it. Um, but man, it's good work. It's good work. I tell you, the amount of guys I've seen hunched over the trash can after going through, just that full ladder workout. It's tough. It's not easy. But yeah, man, we're gonna keep the train running for Kenny. That's for sure. What do you want? I'm just checking out your last comment, Dino. Ebook, which we want to host. I can recommend the platform. Yeah, Dino, go ahead and shoot us a message on Instagram, man. I think you can find our Instagram in our YouTube channel somewhere. It's just Bloom Entities. But yeah, let's chat about it, man. I want to kind of get into your brain, see what you're thinking with that play. Love to hear more. All right, boys. Let's see what we're looking at here. So let's start with a buy. So just kind of put your mindset in. Okay, this is what I'm looking for to take a buy, and this will kind of be in light of our trading confirmations, right? So the buy that I'm about to describe for you be a may not be the confirmations that you look for buys in your system, right? My What I'm doing here is just showing you showing you our system, how we execute, and what I want you to grasp is just the systematic approach. It's the overall approach to, okay, having a setup, having areas you want this to go to, having your risk predefined, understanding what your leverage is going to be when you enter the trade, bam, and going from there, so that when you execute the trade, you know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing to get in, and you know exactly what you're doing to get out. Let me plug this in so I don't die. Yeah. So to take a buy, I want to see. Let's see if I can get my. I'm horrible with orienting to. No. Yes. Yes, that's what I want. So I want to see price move above the cloud. So this is our Ichimoku cloud. I want to have price move above this cloud. I want to see this white lagging line move above the cloud as well. And then from there, I want to have upwards angle of our span A, span B. Again, so price above the cloud, lagging line above the cloud, and upwards angle of our span A, span B on our Ichimoku cloud. And then from there, okay, so I'm in the buy. That happens, bam. So that happens right here. Oops. So that happens right here, hypothetically. I'll move that up just a little bit, maybe make it a little bit more realistic. I don't know. There we go. So I believe, let's say this happens right here. We have price move above the cloud, upward angle of our cloud, lagging line above the cloud. Bam, we enter here. Then from there, where am I going to take this thing? Funny you should ask. Let's talk about it. You see this area of inefficiency? That's what I'm looking for. So you know we have liquidity that lies at the highs and the lows. So we'll have liquidity here. Liquidity gets swept up, bam. Then we move into this area of inefficiency, and we'll hide the probability of like price touching that exact point is so high. Like literally that exact point is so high. But once we move into this space, the probability of that whole thing being filled is high, right? So as we move into this area after this buy, say we're now, price is now up here, right? From there, what I will do is, so let's say my stop loss was down there, price is moving up, price is moving up. Once price moves into that area of inefficiency, I'll slide my stop loss to break even. And then as price moves to the upper part of that area of inefficiency, I'll slide my stop loss up more, move to a tier 2 level entry. Bam, guaranteed profit. And I'll just continue to watch price go. If it continues to go, get to that next level, just take care of it, move the stop loss up, and continue to just use that sliding stop loss system. So now that we understand that, what am I going to look for a sell? So let's just take a peek at what we're looking at here. All right. Just looking back. Okay. Kind of seeing how price behaves. Inferior with respect to where we're currently at. Inferior meaning below where we're currently at. I want to see price break out of this area, right? You have liquidity that lies in the highs and the lows. Liquidity that lies in the highs and the lows. So we'll see liquidity get swept up, have price flutter down, and I'll play it into this area of inefficiency and execute the same thing. Sliding stop loss system as price continues to move down, tier 2 level entry, tier 3 level entry, and so on. And so on. So yeah, boys, that's 7:06. 7:06. We have hit our time for the day. I gotta freaking get to studying. Simlaji, I apologize if I butcher your name. Are you profitable? Are you profitable? What a wonderful question. So if you ask me, and again, I'm a straight shooter, man. If you ask me all time, am I profitable? Like in my 3 years, because I've been in this space almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in May. Jeez. So I'm still roughly new in the space. If you ask me all time, heck no. Heck no, am I not profitable? Now, different story. Different story. And how I'll frame that for you, Simlaji. Again, I apologize if I'm butchering your name. It's not about the profit, right? The profit is a manifestation of the inputs we put into this game, right? So that's what I'll leave it at. That's what I'll leave it at. Yeah, man, this was a good group today, man. This was our group today. I appreciate all you guys hopping on. We will be on next Tuesday. Marks will be on next Tuesday. I will be on next Thursday. Yeah, and Simlaji, Marcus and I, we post our profits and lessons. So every time we win, every time we lose in our community. So I recommend, our community is completely free. Hop in our community, look at our profits and lessons channel, and just kind of get a sense of how we frame our P&L. Where we say process over P&L. So we will always emphasize profit process over any sort of P&L, right? Appreciate you guys hopping on, man. Great group today. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys all next week. Peace.